Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a junior developer looking at the tech landscape right now, it's probably pretty overwhelming, right? You're constantly bombarded by social media hype. There's a new life-changing JavaScript framework trending literally every single week, usually before you've even finished installing the last one. So how do you actually cut through all that noise? Well, today we're going to look past those fleeting trends and uncover the actual foundational skills that serious engineers are mastering right now. We're going to build a super clear, totally realistic learning path to take you from basic coding all the way to cutting-edge architecture. Let's dive in.
So here is exactly how we're going to break it down today. First, we'll look at the developer skill gap. Number 2, foundational shifts regarding data and state. 3, where logic executes at the edge. 4, local-first architecture. 5, LLM application engineering. And finally, number 6, your actual mastery timeline.
All right, let's jump right into this. Section 1, the developer skill gap, how we actually move beyond that social media hype. Every few years, there's this massive shift in what the absolute best developers actually spend their time learning. And as a junior dev, spotting this shift early, that is absolutely your biggest advantage. Because, well, there's a stark contrast between what gets hyped and what's real. On one side, you've got the hype on X, formerly Twitter. These are those fleeting trends that get everybody talking, but they inevitably disappear in, about 2 weeks? On the other side, we have serious engineering. These are the concepts genuinely becoming the foundation of how we build software. If you don't focus your learning path on these 5 genuine shifts we're about to cover, you are going to feel that skill gap very, very soon. Okay, moving on to Section 2, foundational shifts in data and state. This is really about fundamentally changing how you think about your code. So, for literally decades, organizing code around objects and behaviors, object-oriented programming, has been treated as the most natural way to structure a program. But data-oriented design is bleeding into mainstream engineering fast. It's coming up heavily from game dev and the Rust ecosystem. Basically, data-oriented design argues that organizing around the data itself and exactly how it flows through memory produces systems that are just dramatically more performant. It's kind of like a giant library, right? Instead of running all over the place finding a book, then finding its author, and then grabbing its sequel one by one, data-oriented design puts every single book you need for your specific task right on your desk all at once. And with the massive rise of AI workloads, understanding how data layout affects performance, it's not a niche skill anymore. It is going completely mainstream. And building right on top of that is reactive programming. Now, a lot of devs think they get this just because they know a library like RxJS exists. But real reactive programming is a fundamentally different mental model. Instead of imperatively giving your program step-by-step commands, you define the relationships between data streams, and then you just let the system propagate those changes automatically. It's a total paradigm shift. Think about it. Modern apps are inherently event-driven. They rely heavily on real-time data, WebSocket connections, and complex concurrent state. All of these are at their core stream problems. And it's exactly why massive frameworks like React, Solid.js, and Angular are aggressively moving toward the stream-based reactive model. This really is your new foundation. All right, Section 3, where logic executes, the edge. We are really blurring that client-server line here. Okay, so once you actually understand how to structure your data, the next mental model you've got to update is where that code actually runs. Welcome to the edge. That traditional strict split between the client and the server, it's basically dying. It's being replaced by an edge spectrum. This means edge nodes are running lightweight compute geographically close to your users way before requests ever even hit your origin server. Platforms like Cloudflare Workers, Vercel Edge Functions, and Dino Deploy have made this incredibly accessible. This isn't just some neat cloud feature, it's a complete paradigm shift in execution location. Now, to actually leverage the edge, there are a few core architectural patterns you really need to master. You've got request coalescing, which is basically just grouping multiple identical requests into a single database hit to save resources. Then you've got cache invalidation strategies and partial personalization. Mastering these specific patterns, it's quickly becoming absolutely mandatory for anyone building apps that need to feel lightning fast on a global scale. Which brings us right to Section 4, local-first architecture. This is all about treating the user's device as the absolute primary source of truth. Now, if running code close to the user is a good thing, what about running it directly on their device? I absolutely love this perspective. Listen to this. The latency disappears, users stop noticing the network because it stops being in the critical path of everything they do. See, local first isn't just some small performance optimization for offline users. By making the application work fully offline and only syncing when connectivity is there, you're fundamentally rethinking the entire application architecture to deliver just an unmatched user experience. So how is this actually done in practice? Well, you use CRDTs, which stands for conflict-free replicated data types, for your conflict resolution. If you think of the seamless real-time collaboration magic in Google Docs, that's what we're talking about. You're also seeing technologies like SQLite running directly inside the browser via WebAssembly, or WASM. And products like Linear and Figma have already totally validated this. Local-first architectures produce experiences that just feel vastly superior to traditional client-server apps. You're no longer just building a thin client that sits around waiting for a server to respond.
Okay, jumping to Section 5, LLM application engineering, moving way past just making basic API calls. Look, there is a massive, massive gap in the AI industry right now. On one side, you have folks who just know how to call an LLM API, and on the exact opposite side, you have an engineer who can architect a truly reliable LLM-powered system. The developers actually building AI products that work consistently in production, they treat language models as complex engineering problems, not just some simple text-in, text-out API.
If you want to be on the valuable side of that gap, there are specific stabilizing engineering patterns you have to learn. You need to understand RAG architectures, retrieval augmented generation. That's essentially giving the AI an open reference book so it doesn't just hallucinate facts. You also need to know agent orchestration, how to build really robust evaluation pipelines, proper prompt versioning, and managing complex context windows. As a junior developer tackling these specific hard engineering skills, that is exactly how you stand out in the AI space.
All right, final stretch. Section 6, your mastery timeline. Let's look at a realistic project path specifically for junior developers.
So, we've covered a lot: data-oriented design, reactive programming, the edge, local first, and LLM engineering. Here is your ultimate learning roadmap to tackle all of this over the next year, without burning out. Seriously, don't rush it. Spend months 1 through 3 strictly mastering data layout and reactive mental models. Get that foundation rock solid. Then, in months 4 through 6, take those apps and deploy them to the edge spectrum. Master your caching and coalescing. Months 7 through 9, challenge yourself to build a fully local-first offline app using CRDTs and WebAssembly. And finally, months 10 through 12, use all of that robust architectural knowledge you just built up to architect reliable LLM systems. Trust me, starting with those foundational mental models makes tackling the complex AI architectures at the end so much easier. I really want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. Take a hard look at your current tech stack and what you're actually spending your time learning today. Are you just writing imperative, step-by-step code for a traditional server, or are you actually engineering for the future? By adopting these 5 paradigms, you stop chasing all that social media hype and you start building the real durable skills that serious engineers rely on. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, I highly encourage you to start month 1 of that timeline today. You've got this.